Welcome to the Fox 54 Weekend Review, a recap of local stories we've covered over the past 7 days on Fox 54 News. I'm Kenesha Dees. There's a running theme to some of our stories this week, and that's been answering viewer questions. Some of the ones we're tackling this week include questions for law enforcement, from the use of unmarked cars to the number of police involved in traffic stops. We took your questions to Madison County Sheriff's Office to get answers. And if you shopped at Clift Farm over in Madison, you've seen a 3% surcharge added to your bill. If you've wondered why it's there and where the money goes, stick around for those answers. And Senator Tommy Tuberville posed a question about respect and manners in addressing former President Trump during his hush money trial this week. Our verified team learned what those rules actually state. That's all coming up in the next few minutes, but let's get you caught up with some of the developments coming to communities across North Alabama. Haven't heard, some big changes are in the works in Alabama this year. Governor Kay Ivey was here at the Rocket City today with legislative updates and provided an outlook for the year ahead. Our Jasmine Bird has more.
As we began this session, I stated that my number one legislative priority was to pass an education savings account plan to help more families choose an education that best suits their child's needs.
Governor Kay Ivey says they did that with the passage of the CHOOSE Act.
Education is every child's ticket to a successful future.
And that's not all. Governor Ivey says a part of preparing for the economy of tomorrow is addressing workforce needs.
During my time as governor, Alabama has seen investments totaling $49 billion with a B dollars, which has created some 87,000 new jobs. While our unemployment rate remains historically low, our labor force participation rate stands only at 57.4%, one of the lowest in the nation.
And that's not low in a good way.
Last week, I was proud to join a bipartisan group of legislators in signing what we called the Working for Alabama bill package.
Governor Ivey shares that this bill is expected to keep things moving forward in the area of workforce.
From majorly reforming our state's workforce programs to establishing a child care credit, this legislation will certainly help us and all of you move the needle on this workforce needs.
A new road project is also in the works.
This runs from County Line Road to the Wall Triangle interchange. But when it's all said and done, we'll be at least 6 lanes across.
In Huntsville, Jasmine Bird, Fox 54 News.
And in case you haven't heard, the month of May is Older Americans Month, and today marked the 37th annual Senior Fun Fest for senior citizens throughout the Tarcog region. Tarcog serves Limestone, Madison, Marshall, Jackson, and DeKalb County, and organizers say this event is a time to celebrate like it's Mardi Gras, and shine on light on older Americans, while also saying thank you for all of their contributions.
This event is so important for our seniors' well-being, being connected with one another and being physical and just having fun is an important part of our lives as we age.
This gives them a chance to get out and associate and be a part of the community.
Well, according to the World Health Organization, by 2030, 1 in 6 people in the world will be age 60 years and over.
With perspective on an issue that families might have recently encountered. May 1st, the date traditionally set for college decisions, has come and gone. And still there are some students who haven't made their commitments official. An increasingly relevant reason has been why there's complications with the FAFSA. I spoke with Birmingham-based nonprofit who says there are high-achieving, college-ready students who risk not going to school because of avoidable mistakes.
This has by far been the most challenging FAFSA year that we've ever experienced, without a doubt.
That's Barry Smith. She's the Resource Development Director for College Choice Foundation. CCF provides mentorship and extracurricular college counseling services for high school students from low-income families in the Birmingham area.
It seems like the students who are having the most trouble are from the families who need Pell Grant and those federal funds the most.
There were other challenges in addition to the delay of the new form's release.
What that does is that pushes everybody's process back. The admissions department, it affects what they're doing. It affects what the students are doing. People couldn't get into the site. Literally, the site couldn't handle the amount of traffic that it was receiving.
Alabama has one of the worst rates of FAFSA completion in the country. According to the National College Attainment Network, through May 3rd, just 37.4% of the graduating class of 2024 completed their FAFSA. That ranks 23rd of the country. The more concerning number is that completion percentage is actually a 28.8% decrease from last year. Only Mississippi ranks worse.
There's something happening out there that's making up that gap. So they're having to find some other way, either by filing a waiver or working with their schools to get around the fact that that is a graduation requirement.
And it'll be important to ensure that next year's round of applications run smooth.
So these are kids who really, really want to go to school. They want that higher education. They want that opportunity, but we've got to take these barriers away. So hopefully by next year, there will have been lots of lessons learned and lots of things done to make changes.
For more information, visit FOX54.com.
When tragedy strikes, it's time like these that a community steps up. Clemens High School students came together today to help residents in the Brigadoon community pick up the pieces after Wednesday's tornado. Our Jasmine Bird shares more.
Everybody was just like, we're going to go do it.
Meet Clemens High School FFA President Lexi Evans. The sophomore says this cleanup day is all about giving back to their community.
This community has given us so much because we've started this FFA group from the very bottom up, and our community really has given us everything to have a perfect foundation, and so this is the bare minimum we could do just to give back to our community.
Jackson Parman is a freshman at Clemens High School and lives in this Brigadoon neighborhood. Parman recalls his experience during Wednesday night's storms.
And all you hear is the sirens, so I went straight to the bathroom and just stayed in there for a couple, and then you come outside, everything was just tore up.
And Parman says to see so many of his friends and classmates coming together to help his neighborhood pick up the pieces is a great feeling.
That's what you're supposed to do, be a good citizen and everything. They deserve it. Everything they lost, everything. People are out of homes now.
Teachers and everybody were just like, okay, have a great day, don't get hurt. And the principal, he was like, I love this idea. So there wasn't a soul that turned it down in our school. It gives us something to look forward to, and the community realizes that, they have our back and we have their back.
In Athens, Jasmine Bird, Fox 54 News.
Well, an event all about cats today at Low Mill. We're talking about the Rocket City Kitty Palooza. It's the 4th annual event put on by Caddyshack, and it's all about animal adoptions and fundraising, with a special focus on encouraging pet owners to spay and neuter their pets. There were even a kitty snuggle lounge. Here's more from Caddyshack owner Tim Cooley.
We are a nonprofit cat rescue, and all of our kitties are in foster homes. We provide the supplies needed to foster and pay for all the vet care. And then you sign up your kitties to come into the cat lounge. So this is where we socialize them and hopefully increase our adoptions using the lounge.
And a major milestone for the Trash Pandas last night. Not only did they win big against the Mississippi Braves, but they officially welcomed their 1 millionth fan. Melanie Forbes was honored with the special title. Video taken from the team's official X account shows the excited superfans' reaction. Forbes will receive special perks and prizes for winning, being the team's 1 millionth fan, of course, like throwing out a ceremonial first pitch, winning hundreds of dollars in cash, trash cash that is, to spend at the team store, and receiving 4 box seats.
Potential reclassification of marijuana is sure to bring big changes for the medical cannabis industry. But how will it affect CBD businesses in Alabama? As our Ken McCoy tells us, a Huntsville owner says there's not much to worry about.
The discussion around how does the potential reclassifying of marijuana affect CBD businesses starts with knowing how they are alike.
Both of them are cannabinoid. Cannabinoids are what interact with our endocannabinoid system.
And how they are not.
THC, when most people think THC, they think delta-9 THC, which is the active ingredient in marijuana that has a psychoactive portion to it. And I know the dispensaries up in Colorado are selling at it up to 40% THC, or delta-9 THC. To put that in perspective, the most we're allowed to sell here in Alabama is 0.3%.
In my discussion with Philip Smith, owner of SunMed CBD, I asked, how do you see that being implemented in what you guys do?
I don't really think it's going to change anything we do. It might change the perception of the public a little bit. I doubt our product is going to change due to a ruling from the DEA, but it doesn't seem to change whether or not CBD works for somebody.
And the CBD benefits are even preferred by some who use THC.
Even ones that like THC don't necessarily want to get high, they just want enough of it to help them. That's a huge difference between the medical side and the recreational side. The medical side is trying to get some relief from their day-to-day life, whether it's because they had back surgery and they're now paralyzed, or because their neuropathy or whatever, their pain is just almost debilitating, or that their stress and anxiety levels are just so high that it brings it down and they can function like for lack of a better word, a normal person.
To sum it up, there's room for both.
Well, yeah, there's going to be room for both, but I mean, changing it from Schedule 1 to Schedule 3 doesn't make it legal at any level on the federal side. All it does is say that, hey, we do see some medical benefits for that. I would like to see a whole lot more people that are getting benefit be able to get it prescribed, and going from a Schedule 1 to a Schedule 3 could open the doors up for a prescription and possibly even the insurance picking it up instead of strictly out of pocket.
For Fox 54 News, I'm Ken McCoy.
All right, community members gathering at Big Spring Park today for the 2024 Heart Walk. And Fox 54's very own Mo Carter and Kanisha Dees was there to MC the big event. The event is all to honor survivors and raise life-saving funds to support the American Heart Association. The goal this year was $550,000, but the total raise was $584,000. Here's more from the event's chairman.
Well, I think what's unique this year is that it's 100 years of the American Heart Association, and we've been able to break records at the Huntsville Heart Walk fundraising for the American Heart Association.
And if you've been on the hunt for just the right things to get your kids out and about this summer, listen up. Huntsville Parks and Rec's summer program guide is offering cool fun on hot days. Our Jasmine Bird tells us all about it.
With summertime fast approaching, keeping the kiddos entertained can be tough.
It can get a little much staying in the house all day long.
It's why Huntsville Parks and Recreation has a new summer program guide to help Huntsville moms like Melissa McDowell.
I stay home with both my two boys. It's nice to be able to have a safe place to take them and let them exercise and get some fresh air and have a little fun.
Huntsville Director of Parks and Recreation James Gossett says the summer guide is all about making it easier.
One of the things we really focused on this year was low or no cost programming for people in the community, certainly citizens of Huntsville.
And the guide really has something for everyone.
We're going to have a Kidtopia Splash Bash. We'll have one event in June and one event in July, and it will be at our splash pad at Bronze Springs, and really kind of focused on kids ages 3 to 5. There'll be some music out there, there'll be an art project, probably have some popsicles. Be a great time for the community to come out and gather and just socialize with one another. We have the fitness, we have youth activities, we have arts and crafts, we have aquatics. So it runs the gamut for people and their interests that live in Huntsville.
For McDowell, this is very important.
And it's a really great opportunity for people who need those kind of free events or need those things. Maybe we can't afford to take our kids to all the other options, but to have free options or to have things that are available for us to take the kids to and to let them enjoy and to have part of the community a little bit is very beneficial for us and gives us a chance to get out and be with other people in the community and
To learn more about what the guide has to offer, visit fox54.com. In Huntsville, Jasmine Bird, Fox 54 News.
If you've ever witnessed a loved one or friend struggle with substance use disorder, then you know that can be a very difficult journey. But help is on the way for those on the road to recovery in the Madison area. Our Jasmine Bird tells us how.
Longleaf is an outpatient facility located here in Madison.
For Longleaf Recovery and Wellness Clinical Director Brianna Marshall, this new outpatient facility offering services to Madison County will be beneficial in many ways. One way in specific.
Madison County does not have a lot of resources for people who struggle with substance use disorders. Not just substance use disorders, but also mental health.
And when it comes down to it, substance use and mental health can really go hand in hand.
So we can't just treat the substance use without also treating the mental health. So we provide services, partial hospitalization, PHP. So basically what that means is our patients are here all day, Monday through Friday. They receive services. We have therapists, trained therapists. We have psych nurses. We have doctors that are on staff that not only manage the substance use part, but also manage the mental health part.
And for Long Leaf Program Director Evan Seal, there is no doubt that this recovery center is a need.
All you have to do is watch the news every evening to understand that there's a drastic need in our state and in our country. So we want to provide not only more treatment options, but better treatment options, quality treatment options that will set up our clients for success as best as we can prepare them.
And another key thing to note is
a lot of substance use is triggered by mental health, and a lot of mental health is triggered by substance use. So it's very rare that we see a case that a client comes in that has a substance use disorder but does not have a mental health disorder.
In Madison, Jasmine Bird, Fox 54 News.
Civic engagement took on the form of a forum at the Sandra Moon Complex over in South Huntsville. Tonight was Huntsville City Council's District 3 Town Hall. The main theme was public safety. Residents had a Q&A with Huntsville Police, including new precinct commander Chris Riley. City Council member Jenny Robinson said this came about after some residents had concerns over how the city handles safety with ongoing growth.
There are always concerns about keeping neighborhoods safe. And some of the concerns have been that we have seen an increase in the homeless population. There have been questions about the bus depot on the South Parkway and how that's impacted public safety. There are just concerns about public safety in a city that is continuing to grow, and how are we meeting those public safety needs. And then also an opportunity to get to meet the new precinct commander.
All right, well, Huntsville Police also gave a presentation on year-over-year crime statistics for the first quarter in District 3. Areas like breaking and entering vehicles, burglaries, and aggravated robberies were lower than last year at this time. Huntsville Police say the instances of caught crime has decreased because of the ramp-up of community watch involvement and meetings. After tonight's town hall, Robinson met with people to talk about Huntsville City Schools' capital plan.
Now, one of the things we have talked about is that if a school is closed in a neighborhood, then it does become the city's problem, because it's never good to have, whether it's a vacant space or a vacant building in the middle of a neighborhood. And then it becomes the city's responsibility to make sure that the space becomes something that in our case we think is better than was here originally.
All right, well, discussions over the capital plan comes right on time for District 3. The theme for next quarter's town hall is education, and it will include an appearance from Huntsville City School Superintendent Dr. Clarence Sutton. That is set for August. All right, Decatur residents, this one's for you. In partnership with TVA, Decatur Utilities, along with the City of Decatur, installed 2 new Level 3 fast electric vehicle charging stations to the area. One will be located in the parking lot off Holly Street, and the other between the Princess Theater and Cook Museum. Jared Mitchum, Regional Vice President of TVA, shares what he believes is the goal of these stations.
The goal of the TVA Fast Charge Network is to have one of these DC fast chargers every 50 miles on major interstates and highways across North Alabama and the whole Tennessee Valley. That's so that electric vehicle drivers are never more than 25 miles from a DC fast charge. That'll enable and increase EV adoption, which is good for the economy, it's good for the local environment, and it keeps those refueling dollars in the Tennessee.
For a few years now, we've known about an extra fee attached to our bill while dining at Clift Farm. Fast forward to now, and we now know exactly what it's for. Breland Companies with that answer. Arkin McCoy has the story.
That money did not come from the city. That money did not come from the state or the county. It comes from this development fee that's been placed on the businesses here at Clift Farms.
If you live or made a stop for a quick bite to eat in Clift Farm, you may have noticed an extra fee on your receipts. Joey CC with Breland Companies says the 3% development tax helps keep the infrastructure in Clift Farm growing and improving.
Basically, that's a fee that's been placed on the businesses here at Clift Farm to help pay for the development costs that you see here, all the public infrastructure, all the roads, all the utilities, a mile of new lane on Highway 72. Altogether, that cost more than $40 million. It really allowed the whole project to happen, because without it, without roads, infrastructure, utilities, electricity, we couldn't have this project. So, those are things that typically a city or a county would build, and then a developer would come in after that. Here, we did it a little bit differently, and so the taxpayers aren't paying anything for what goes on here at Clift Farm, just the people that choose to come here to shop and eat.
And there's a few new options to choose from.
The latest is, we've got Capriotti's that's just opened up, a great sandwich shop. First Watch that's here, just opened, the first in North Alabama. They do a fantastic breakfast, brunch, and lunch. And we've got some more coming soon. Right behind me here is Chuck's Fish. This will be the first location in North Alabama with the absolute freshest Gulf seafood. They've got a location in Tuscaloosa that's really a favorite of a lot of people. So there's a lot of people excited about what we've got coming here at Clift Farms.
With the growth of any area, traffic is always a topic to address.
We mitigated some of it on our own by building an additional lane on Highway 72 right here in front of Clift Farm. We also upgraded the intersections to make sure that they worked better and had double left turns. So we did what we could to address the traffic need right here adjacent to Clift Farm. But the real solution is going to be when they 6-lane Highway 72, add a lane in each direction. The city and the county are working on that with the state, and we hope that project kicks off here soon.
For Fox 54 News, I'm Ken McCoy.
Now, Fox 54 Top Teacher, sponsored by Calhoun Community College.
Well, this teacher we're about to meet comes highly recommended, and as a visitor to this school, I see why. He is well loved. This next teacher we're about to meet is all about agriculture. We introduce to you agri-science instructor David Benefield from Coleman High School. Here at Coleman High School.
Woo! Welcome to Ag.
David Benefield's class is all about agriculture.
I try to promote agriculture every way I can. It's part of me. It's who I am. It's ingrained in me.
And he's not new to this.
27 years at Coleman, 30 years altogether.
Benefield is an agri-science instructor. It's not because it was something he learned at Auburn University.
I go back generations of farmers, and just anything agricultural just is a passion of mine. It really is. Maddie demonstrated the other day a little bit about how to cut.
His lineage lit a spark to his love for agriculture. Benefield's now passed his love for this type of life to his students.
I'm a senior here. I've had him all 4 years.
Just ask graduating senior Carson Starnes.
We'll build stools, benches, tables, stuff like that, and then welding and cutting metal and stuff like that. So we learn a lot, wide variety.
Starnes, like Benefield, grew up growing food.
I've lived on a farm my whole life, and so I can kind of relate to it, and I figured it can help me later on in life because I'm wanting to go into the ag industry.
So as expected, it's not only work that students do on the inside of this building, it's outdoor work too.
And obviously going out to the greenhouse, planting and taking care of plants and stuff like that, it's also fun.
Principal Allison Tuggle sees the fruit of their labor.
He does make agriculture fun, and we want to produce students who are not, maybe they're not just college bound, but are in the career bound world.
I like to pass that on to the kids and just have them have positive experiences like I've had, and just kind of continue to grow intellectually, but not just that, knowing where their food comes from, how important just life skills are, just being able to work with your hands and be a productive part of society.
He was so fun and such a joy to watch. You can see the enthusiasm. Congratulations, Mr. Benefield. Check out the moment he was surprised in front of nearly the entire school. And there's still time to nominate a teacher. Visit fox54.com. Our show first in Huntsville tonight. Fire and rescue say a man is alive and alert after falling into a hole while on the job. Hemsey and the Huntsville Fire Department on the scene after a call came in after 10 a.m. Fire crews say the man fell into a hole that was covered in the yard while performing HVAC work. This all happening in the 5 Points area on McKinley Avenue. They say workers said they noticed the covering and were being precautious prior to the fall. Fire and rescue provided an update this afternoon. Here's a listen.
The only information that I have is that they were working on some HVAC work underneath the home, and there was apparently a 15 to 20 foot hole, and apparently he fell down, and that's when we were contacted to make the rescue. So he's no longer in there, not aware of the injuries, but he's just being extricated, and right now it seems to be okay. He may sustain some injuries, but we don't have all the information on that right now, but he is alert and oriented. He's communicating verbally, and of course, he's in Hemsley's care right now.
All right, thank you, Jordan. Some exciting news coming out of the hit recording capital of the world this morning. A new $65 million sports and entertainment facility is coming to Muscle Shoals. According to the city's mayor, Mike Lockhart, the development has been in the works for more than 2 years. The 66-acre building will feature indoor and outdoor facilities capable of hosting large regional tournaments. The mayor also says a major retail development will be built close by as the site develops. For more information, visit our website.
The development in a Colbert County animal cruelty case. New court documents show that Deborah Catledge, who you see here now, faces a 41-count indictment. Catledge was arrested last year after investigators found dozens of animals malnourished, injured, and several dead on her property. The indictment lists 4 counts of first-degree cruelty to dogs, 16 counts of second-degree cruelty to dogs, 4 counts of aggravated cruelty to animals, 5 counts of failure to bury an animal, and 1 count of obstructing governmental operations. Catledge's arraignment is scheduled for June 20th.
Is a place where we can build community around topics that grab our attention. And here in the Huntsville area seems to be the increased presence of law enforcement. During National Police Week, we address a few of those comments. Arkin McCoy has more.
A thread on Reddit titled, "Are there more cops and sheriffs, or is it just me?" is filled with questions that many of us want to know about our law enforcement. So, why not ask them?
Social media is such a huge impact on not just law enforcement, but everything. You know, people reach out to us. They leave messages with us on our social media web pages, and they leave complaints. So we see it.
I sat down with the spokesman for the Madison County Sheriff's Office, Brent Patterson, to get the answers on a few questions. Starting with this comment from one user that says, in part, "For like the last week, I've seen a minimum of 3 cars, whether it's somebody pulled over or something happening at a gas station." I asked, what would be the reason behind multiple cars at a stop?
There is no such thing as a routine traffic stop. You know, stopping somebody for a minor infraction such as running a red light could turn into something much more than that. You know, a lot of times the vehicle license plate could come back to something that would warrant to have more than just one officer present at that traffic stop. You could have multiple individuals in a vehicle. It's always safer to have more than one set of eyes on a vehicle.
Speaking of multiple cars, is there an increase in unmarked cars?
You know, it's one of those things where there are a lot of vehicles on the road that may look like unmarked vehicles that are not. I wouldn't say there's more, not with the sheriff's office.
But are they used to set up speed traps?
We don't have any unmarked vehicles that I'm aware of that's out trying to catch people speeding. Can I sit here and unequivocally say that we've got unmarked vehicles that do not do that? No.
Last comment suggested that the increased presence of law enforcement means, quote, they missed their not quota quotas last month.
I can tell you we do not have quotas. We don't tell our deputies at the beginning of their shift to go out and write a certain number of tickets. We don't do that.
For Fox 54 News, I'm Ken McCoy.
Over in Limestone County, its Economic Development Association celebrated the 70th anniversary for its annual meeting. Alabama Secretary of Commerce Ellen McNair was expected to give remarks, but due to an emergency, wasn't able to make it. Tonight, we hear from her representative, our Jasmine Bird, with the story in Athens.
Ellen was excited to come and speak to this group today because she wanted you to know that Limestone County is an incredible success model for the state of Alabama.
And it's because of one key element.
And that's partnership.
Alabama Department of Commerce Manager of Government Relations, Stephania Jones, makes it very clear that good partnership is not always easy to come by.
Not every community and county can do what you've done. Not even close, really. We have counties that can't even work with the cities in their own county. What you have is unique, and it should be celebrated, and it should be a model for the rest of the state.
Limestone County Economic Development Association President and CEO Bethany Shockney mentions another unique aspect.
In our 70 years, we have only had 3 CEOs of this organization. 3. 70 years, 3 people.
And Jones says when it comes to economic development across the state, there are a few major projects in the works.
Obviously, here in North Alabama, there's a thriving music industry, and we want to make sure that we're encompassing all of that in what will now be known as our Alabama Entertainment Office. We'll also be establishing an entertainment advisory board to help our new director and staff evaluate projects and set priorities for our current $20 million incentives cap.
And that's not all.
We were able to get another $20 million approved for the SEEDS Act, which is very exciting.
The SEEDS Act stands for Site Evaluation and Economic Development Strategy Act, which aims to speed the development of much-needed industry-ready sites across the state.
We've put together a tentative timeline for what that's going to look like. We're meeting with the CETA board next week to get that approved.
In Athens, Jasmine Bird, Fox 54 News.
And due to last week's severe storms, Maple Hill Cemetery still remains closed to the public after portions of the area were damaged. We spoke with Huntsville City Administrator John Hamilton, who shares it's too early to tell when a final assessment of the damages will be released. He also shared cleanup of the historical site is taking longer than expected. There's still unsafe areas to be around.
For those people that want to just come and look around, we really need them to stay out of the cemetery right now. It's just not safe to have large numbers of people there. We certainly will accommodate those with a legitimate purpose for being there. But for right now, the people who use it to walk and exercise, find a different place to go walk or jog, for those that just want to come look around, let's wait a few days. Let's get the trees cleared out of there. But we do intend to have it open for those who need to be in the cemetery tomorrow.
All right, a good update. Well, the city will contact residents if their loved one's gravesite was damaged. Senator Tommy Tuberville, one of several GOP supporters of Trump attending today's court session, he criticized several aspects of court that he says negatively impacts the former president, including lack of respect by prosecutors. Verifies Chase McPherson explains.
First of all, I'm disappointed in the courtroom. I'm hearing Mr. Trump. He is former President Trump. Give him some respect.
Speaking on Fox News Channel outside the courthouse, Alabama Senator Tommy Tuberville took prosecutors to task for how they addressed former President Trump, raising a question that comes up from time to time. What is the appropriate way to address a president no longer in office? So let's verify. Our sources are the Emily Post Institute, the Former President's Act, and the Associated Press Style Book. Emily Post literally wrote the book on etiquette, and since then her eponymous organization has kept society informed on what is considered the proper way to behave and speak. On how to address a former president, they say that in a formal setting, the correct form is Mr. last name. In the context of a federal courtroom, where there's the expectation of decorum in dress and behavior, it could then be argued that the senator is wrong in expecting Trump to be referred to as former president. Places that do mandate the term former president include government agencies and their associated websites and texts. That's outlined in the Former President's Act. And for members of the press, many follow the guidelines of the Associated Press, which states that when referencing living former presidents, AP style is former president on first reference, last name thereafter. So when to refer to a former president as former president or Mr. followed by last name needs context, depending on the setting and situation. With your Verify, I'm Chase McPherson.
The Fox 54 Weekend Review will take a break next weekend, but we will return with an all-new episode May 31st. Until then, you can see a list of our top 5 weekly web stories on fox54.com each Saturday. We encourage you to check out all the exclusive streaming offerings found on Fox 54 Plus. For now, though, I'm Kenesha Dees. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.